The Founders of Hogwarts, Part 1, Episode 1. Written and performed by Amanda K. Skelton. Inspired by the Wizarding World of Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. Fade in. Interior Glen's Academy of the Mystical Arts. Narrow corridor. Afternoon. Caption. Glen 967 AD. Chatty girls between the ages of 14 and 17 scatter every which way, fixing their hair and lacing up their dresses. Down the next empty corridor stands Rowena, 15, with fair skin, long raven hair, and crystal blue eyes. She admires several portraits of distinguished-looking witches and wizards on the wall. She coughs lightly into a handkerchief, Samwith, off camera. Rowena! She turns to the sound of her name and sees Samwith, a 16-year-old wizard with awkwardly long limbs and deep green eyes. Did you find it? It's in the trophy room. Silver bag with a gold drawstring between the Ottoman shield and the West Francian short dagger. You sure? She nods. A chimera was captured yesterday. The patron herself gutted the beast and choked the fire right out of its throat. Enough to fill one bag. Sam looks worried. Rowena, are you sure about this? She opens the top of her satchel that hangs over her shoulder. Inside is a bulky manuscript. Completely. Save me a dance? He nods. Always. Good luck. He leaves, and Rowena takes one last look up at the portraits. Cut 2. Exterior, Glen's Academy of the Mystical Arts, Trophy Room, Afternoon. Rowena checks that she is alone and taps her wand to the lock on the door. Alohomora. The lock breaks and the door opens, but there's another heavier, darker door immediately behind it. This is not a surprise to Rowena, and she taps her wand on the four corners of the frame, whispering an inaudible spell. The second door glows blue and dissolves again. Interior, Glen's Academy of the Mystical Arts, Trophy Room, continuous. Rowena enters an obnoxiously ornate chamber filled to the brim with an extensive collection of trinkets. And there, between the shield and the short dagger, sits two identical silver bags with gold drawstrings. Oh, come on. Her eyes dart back and forth between the two possibilities. Her hand hovers over the right, then the left, then the right. Several cathedral bells chime in the distance, and she panics. Which one? Which one? Left, right, left. She takes the right one. Cut 2. Interior, Glen's Academy of the Mystical Arts, main hallway. Afternoon. Girls line the hallway with their dates. The matron, a curvy, authoritative woman in her late 60s, marches by, checking the girls off her list one by one. Lady Margaret, no, less is more. Lady Cassandra, for the love of canaries, smile. Don't burden people with your sadness. It's very unbecoming. Lady Rowena. The matron looks up from her scroll and the girls part, leaving Rowena's date Samwith standing alone with a pair of delicately woven shoes in his hand. The matron approaches. Where is Lady Rowena? He shrugs. Cut 2. Exterior Glen's Council of Academics, Bell Tower, afternoon. A witch rings the last bell from the tallest tower. Cut 2. Interior Glen's Council of Academics, courtroom, continuous. A room of 40 witches and wizards, most well over the age of 80, sit in rows, talking and arguing loudly. The speaker of academics, Lord Harold, slams his gavel over and over until the room quiets down. Order! Order! Candles line the edge of the desk, along with a red-scaled pouch, the top of it smoking. What else are you importing into the country? In the middle of the room, at the lectern, stands Reclerus, 17, a tall, handsome wizard with soft brown hair, kind hazel eyes, and smooth olive skin. He shuffles his notes and clears his throat nervously. The remains of a male Pegasus, sir. White, if it makes any difference. Reclerus opens a long, rectangular wooden box with the letters RR engraved across the lid. The crowd murmurs their disappointment at the sight of a ghostly white bone inside. Lord Harold continues. You are aware that transporting any part of a Pegasus from Greece is prohibited, unless for academic, or in my case, medical purpose. Paperwork is all squared away. Reclerus holds up an inch-thick scroll. So what be this medical purpose? Reclerus takes a breath. Treatment for burns caused by dragon's fire, and the possible containment of it. People laugh and smoke their mockery quietly. Many have tried and all have failed. What makes you think you can achieve what greater wizards before you could not? The story of the Lady Demir riding a Pegasus into the mountain hall to kill the dragon that slaughtered her village. She died a hero's death from its flames, but the Pegasus survived as only a skeleton, flying into the stars to be with its rider. Also, legend has it, the stories of Atlantis and Achilles turned out to be true. Even so, you would have better luck using a dragon's own bones than that of a sky-prancing pony's. The bones of a dead winged horse can control the heat of chaos. Reclerus opens a bottle and pours out a dime-size amount of the finest white powder. Immediately, it takes the shape of a miniature Pegasus. It neighs and gallops through the set of fancy candles in the front of Lord Harold, blowing them out. Lord Harold snaps the candles back to life, rolling his eyes. The tiny winged horse gallops back into Reclerus's jar. Parlor tricks and children's stories have no place in court, and neither do adolescent trainees pretending to be scholars. He's not pretending. Everyone in the courtroom turns their attention to the disembodied voice. Reclerus smiles as Rowena stands fearless at the panel. But I do question the credibility of this particular court if you're suggesting the use of a dragon's own bones to contain and control. Order! Order! The court only recognizes one speaker at a time. There is only one speaker at a time, and I'm asking you again. Does this court suggest using the bones of a dragon to contain and control its own fire? Yes, it is a practice to be approved by the scholars of the crown. It's idiotic. Reclerus chuckles quietly to himself, enjoying the scene while the rest of the room gasps. What's your cheek? It will not be tolerated in this court. Then neither should your ignorance. Dragons' bones are flammable. The very use of them would be catastrophic. I think your court should be well informed of that, if they aren't already. Or better yet, hire someone who cares more about the discovery than the money that comes from it. Harold bangs the gavel harder. That is enough. It is not your hearing. Not one person here wishes for you to continue. Reclerus is about to raise his hand when a wizard, Nordal, in his 40s, a mousy-haired wizard with crooked teeth, raises his hand and voice. I would. Do you agree with this trainee's dead-winged horse theory? Rowena steals an approving glance from Reclerus. I do. Reclerus's cheeks turn pink with flattery. Nordal continues. Then how would you go about proving it, since it would be unwise to use a dragon's real fire due to its unpredictable behavior and unnaturally high fatality rate? All eyes fall silently on Rowena. She looks nervous for the first time. I'd use fire from a chimera. The court whispers, thinking her crazier than Reclerus. Rowena swallows hard. Reclerus sees the anxiety and pipes up. Yes, chimeras and dragons share similar internal properties, so in a controlled environment, one could test the powder on a chimera's fire and could apply that to the results of that of a dragon's. Everyone in the room considers the logic. Sounds probable. I look forward to a demonstration someday. Rowena takes out the silver pouch with a gold drawstring. Well, wait. She looks at Reclerus for a split second before throwing the bag into the air. Red fire bursts in every direction, blazing over the courtroom. Everyone screams and tries to escape. And without missing a beat, Reclerus throws all of his powder at the fire. The full-size horse charges at the inferno and tramples most of the flames back into Rowena's bag. Members of the court are in shock. Rowena beams at the display. Lord Harold finds his voice. Call the matron! Cut to interior Glenn's infirmary hallway. Later. Healers and trainees make room as the matron barges in. She finds Lord Harold, whose clothes are still singed. Where is she? We're not sure. She sort of popped away before we could. The matron flicks her wand and every door opens. Find her. Cut to interior Glenn's infirmary closet. Continuous. Reclerus, with a handful of bandages, taps open a closet. Inside sits Rowena, with both arms outstretched, her arms welting and boiling from the burn. Your matron just arrived. That gives us, 5 minutes? He cleans her wounds. She recoils in pain at the touch. It'll sting for a bit. His thumb caresses her healthy skin, soothing her pain. No, it's fine. Her eyes smile at him, and the moment before his eyes meet with hers, she looks down. He returns the affection in his gaze. They repeat this as he talks. It'll take about 4 moons, but your skin will be as good as new. I hope they don't banish you from Glen for your bold actions. I'd like to see them try. They'll probably be manually scrubbing the floors for the rest of my academic career. I know they can't fail me. The level of magic I demonstrated is easily and outstanding on any NOOTS test. He chuckles at her perspective on life. Why did you crash my hearing? Well, no one under the age of 16 is allowed to present to the courts of academics, so I took a chance when I read your theory. I knew those old codgers would verbally stone you for such a radical postulation, but I know you're right. Thank you. How did you even get a hold of my research? Rowena takes out a thick stack of bound parchment. We have a mutual friend, She jerks her arm back in pain. Oh, sorry. She waves it off. I made a few corrections along the way, I hope you don't mind. She dumps his research on the table. Every page bleeds with her edits. A few? Well, your theory, however ridiculous and spoken out loud, is progressive. There's no controlling dragon's fire, but containment is a definite possibility. Any scholar who lacks imagination would disagree. Insert, the matron turns down a new hallway. Nordal points to the last door at the end. Meanwhile, Rowena locks her eyes with his. You're already brilliant. It's just a matter of time before the courts recognize it. Can you do me a favor? Reclaris is done with her bandages, but his hands continue to hold hers. Of course. Can you hold on to my wand? If the matron catches me, she'll likely snap it in half. Rowena surrenders her wand to Reclaris, who takes it and hides it up his sleeve. Then, the door swings open, fuming matron. Cut to exterior, Glen, crowded street, late afternoon. The matron drags Rowena by the ear. Never in my life have I ever had such a thorn of a student. You can forget ever seeing the sun again. It's straight to the dungeons with you. The matron forces Rowena into a carriage. Rowena peeks through the bars of the door and sees Reclaris running to her. I never got your name! It's Rowena. The cart begins to move. He keeps up alongside. I know you know who I am since it's written at the top of every page, but please allow me to introduce myself. Reclaris Ravenclaw, at your service. He jumps onto the step and kisses her gently. She catches her breath and he gives her her wand. I hope to see you again, milady. He jumps down. She touches her lips, blushing. Fade to black.